Do you remember when Disney was at its finest back then? I know I did. As one word described the legacy they once had, that magical word was something called animation. Now, if you don't know what animation is, I'll give a simple explanation. Animation is moving art done by people called animators. Animation can come in many different forms. Now, why does this matter? That's where the topic of this video begins to appear. Disney was at the top when it came to animation with their movies. One of their movies, in my opinion, stood out from others. I've always cherished this one in my heart ever since I laid eyes on it. What movie am I talking about? Well, my fellow viewer, it's Lady and the Tramp, created by the one and only Walt Disney. Hello, my name is Wesley Evans. I'm 21 years old and I'm a huge fan of Lady and the Tramp. This movie, or should I say franchise, was everything to me. Now, why am I saying franchise? Don't worry, I'll explain later. It's story time, as I have a story to tell on how my love began. It all started in the early 2000s. I was born on August 11, 2000, and watched the film at its release. That's because Lady and the Tramp was released way back on June 27, 1955, meaning I saw it 45 years later after its original release. My first experience had a lot of value. Not only was Lady and the Tramp the first Disney movie I've seen, but it was also my first ever experience of a movie in my life. I was introduced to it on DVD as they were popular at that time. I remember always replaying the movie and checking out its bonus features many times. I loved the story, characters, world, and magic it brought to me as a kid. Growing up, I always go back and watch Lady and the Tramp. Every year I come back to watch it. That's how much I love it. Another cool fact is that the movie got me into really loving spaghetti from one of the scenes in the movie, an iconic scene that will be memorable for the rest of time. You know which one I'm talking about. Don't pretend like you don't. The romantic scene of Lady and Tramp eating the same strand of spaghetti. How could something so simple be so magical? An interesting fact, if you check out the development behind the movie, is that to make the scene work was a struggle. But thanks to Walt Disney, that scene will remain in our hearts forever. I even made it a tradition for me that whenever spaghetti is what I'm eating, I watch the movie. That's my inner fan being shown. I really do love Lady and the Tramp. It means so much to me. But that was only the original. Things got more interesting later on. Remember I mentioned how it's technically a franchise? Well, here's where things get confusing. Presenting Scamp's Adventure. What you're seeing is not a joke. It's real. Huh? You're still in disbelief? Maybe this other story might make things clear. Trust me, I was confused as you. The year was 2020. We all know how that year wasn't the best, but just hear me out. I was looking through YouTube like I normally do until I stumbled upon many reactions to Scamp's Adventure. I was so confused at what I saw, and it was unreal and impossible. But no, it was real. To further this, let's go back to the 2000s, focusing on the date, February 27, 2001. Remember the DVD popularity? Well, a straight-to-DVD sequel appeared called Lady and the Tramp 2 Scamp's Adventure. Yeah, it was only on VHS and DVD. Now, how did this sequel compare to the original? Did it ruin what the original meant to fans, including myself? Actually, no. Allow me to explain. Scamp's Adventure was an excellent continuation. It was filled with everything that made the original great and more. Many references, callbacks, and world building are presented. Disney was able to repeat the same magic that the original brought, as it was always intended to be that way. Now, as much as I would love to go over these two movies in depth, since I'm a huge fan, I would rather not. Maybe in its own video. Not because I don't care, but it's not the true purpose of this video. You see, I love both movies with all my heart, and I always wanted more. The universe that Disney created was incredible, but there's still so much that can be explored further. Now, this is where the negatives appear. What negatives? Oh boy. So, let's break it down. In 1955, Lady and the Tramp was released. In 2001, Scamp's Adventure came. Did anything happen after? Did Disney make another movie or something? A movie to evolve the franchise? Well, we got something, but what we got was so disrespectful. It's time to talk about how the franchise had its last spark. Remember earlier in the video, I talked about animation and how it was Disney's magical gift? Well, throw that out and instead go more realistic. I'm not kidding. Disney released a remake of the original in 2019 on their streaming service Disney Plus, instead of making a third movie or series. Similar to Scamp's Adventure, except it was only on streaming. By the way, the original and Scamp's Adventure are on Disney Plus, so that's good. But getting back on topic, if you are a huge fan like me, you're going to be very disappointed in the remake. It ruins everything that fans likely loved. So much is wrong. All I'm going to say is that the decisions they made are so questionable and bad. And I still haven't seen it. I don't plan to. Maybe one day, but not today. I'm not being rude, but I just have to speak the truth. Okay, since we got that out the way, let's get positive again. Reviving the franchise is not a bad idea, but how Disney performed was so disgusting. Completely abandoning the franchise, resulting in the fandom dying. only being supported by fan art, some animations, and fanfics, which I appreciate and love the fans for trying to keep the fandom alive. I want to help too by going bigger. How exactly? It's time for the big reveal. What if the video was truly about? What if I told you that I did another movie? A fanfic script for a third film. This script was the first one I ever wrote. I recently did a rewrite as I've done many scripts since my first attempt back in 2020. My fanfic story is a gift to you all. It's filled with Easter eggs, references, and even original songs that I wrote, as well as love and care. The fanfic story is called LATT Tramp 3, Scamp and Angel's Ultimate Choice. I wanted to be a fan film, similar to how a fan did a Zootopia one. You know, Return to Zootopia by Roundtable. I got inspired by that and wanted LATT Tramp to get the same treatment. If you want to know more or are interested, you can follow me on social media. I prefer Discord as I have a server for my project called Barking Community, where I can easily chat with fans and share the script. I really want this to happen, as my goal is to make y'all happy and return the magic that Disney, unfortunately, failed to do. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate your patience in watching the entire video. You're a true fan. This was the first YouTube video I have ever done. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, or even subscribe if you want to. If you're interested in my LATT Tramp project, if you have Discord, join my server, or check out the other links on social media in the description. Have a nice and loyal day, and hopefully, I'll be seeing you join the Barking community.